Welcome to the Lawless Astrology channel. My name is Dabney and I'm an evolutionary astrologer. Today I have Molly McCord on my channel, who does not need much introduction for most of you. She is one of the pioneers of YouTube astrology. She has amazing insights and she does a lot of kind of channeling the information in her videos. So she has a podcast, but then she also does specific videos on different things and she has classes. So today we're going to be talking about the Minor Grand Trine and explaining what that is. And the reason why I wanted to have Molly on for this is because we have all been in a tornado of change. And it's felt like things are coming at us from every direction. And one of the things that was not talked about enough is there might be this really positive evolutionary reason all of this is happening. And aside from all of the things that feel kind of harsh, there is this really, really pretty, like golden beam of light that is involved. And Molly always has a very positive take on things. She really kind of imbues everything with spirituality and hope. And so that's why when I got an email that she's going to be actually having a course, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later, about the Minor Grand Trine. And I was like, I'm all in on that. And you have to come on my show and talk about it. So welcome, Molly. And that was a long introduction, but I want to give you space now to kind of set the stage for what does that mean, the Minor Grand Trine?
Well, thank you for having me back, Dabney, because I love your show. I'm a fan of everything you're creating and sharing, and it's an honor to be in conversation with you again, especially about something that I hope really gives people a sense of this is what it's been about. Like, this is what I've been moving towards in terms of establishing how I want to live more authentically, more fully, more successfully in this life. Now, that's not to say it's not going to have challenges and there aren't going to be things that we're still, of course, learning, growing, healing, all that. But the Minor Grand Trine is this rare configuration of the three outer planets, creating basically like a small triangle. It's not a grand trine, it's a minor grand trine, where they're interacting through two sextiles and one trine. So we have Pluto in Aquarius, sextiling Neptune in Aries, and Neptune in Aries is sextiling Uranus in Gemini, and then Uranus in Gemini is trining Pluto in Aquarius. So we have this beautiful configuration of these three outer planets dancing together in a special way that we've never had before. And that's just the astrology of our times. We're always saying that, right? We've never had this before. And this Minor Grand Trine, I think, is going to give people hope, momentum, direction, a renewal of faith and possibilities. And I do feel, Dabney, that one of the reasons why this Minor Grand Trine is going to feel energizing is because of Uranus and Gemini. Because Uranus and Gemini is now interacting with both Neptune and Pluto. And it's worth noting that Neptune and Pluto travel in an ongoing sextile regularly, like for over a century. They've been in a sextile. But now that they have this Uranus and Gemini entering the chat, there's electrical waves here. There's a new frequency. Uranus and Gemini, brings in that punch of let's go, let's do it different, let's elevate it. So I feel like that's a really big part of this energy signature, is that Uranus and Gemini is going to bring in some amazing breakthroughs that are going to launch us. And I think it's a part of the quantum leap potential of this alignment.
So that makes absolute sense. And so the outer planets, for those people who are not as familiar with astrology, the outer planets move very slowly. And when Molly says like unprecedented, the astrology has been incredibly unprecedented. And that's why things have been feeling pretty destabilizing if you're someone that reads the news or you pay attention to world affairs. So, a lot of times when we talk about this stuff, we talk about it in a very collective way, but it also impacts us individually. And so with these collective shifts of the planets moving into new signs, we've gotten a glimpse about what are the potentials, but also the dangers. And
Mhm.
now this fall and into the winter, we're having the planets, several of the outer planets and the social planets, like Saturn is moving back into Pisces. Uranus is moving back into Taurus. Neptune is moving back into Pisces. So there's kind of this like final piece of
Mhm.
disillusion and dissolving
Mhm.
and change. Then we get that grand trine in the spring, or the talent trine or the minor trine in the spring. Is that correct?
So in 2026, it's actually going to start to form again at 4 degrees of each of these signs in July
Okay. So next
of
summer.
next of yeah, so July 2026. And also at that time, Dabney, we're going to have Jupiter in Leo
Mm.
also interacting at 4 degrees. So, like, we have some really exciting astrology here that's meant to bring us new life, new creations, new risks. And I feel that for many who have been on a healing path, who have been working on their self, developing what they want, standing in their power and intentionality, I think this energy can really support where you want to go over the next few years. I mean, that's how I see it, like on a grand scale, because we know how much is changing over in 2025. Like we're living through these changes that are coming in to our workplaces, to our everyday environments, to our lifestyles. Like we're seeing how things are also quickly leaving. And I feel that we're getting into a greater, I'm going to call it a knowingness that there are new possibilities that await us as this changeover happens. Like it's like even though we might feel the loss and a sense of okay, there's things that are leaving my life that I wish they wouldn't go, the universe is bringing in and you are stepping towards what that next possibility is for you that maybe you can't fully see yet, but it's coming in, it's taking shape. So there's something like there's this hope, I feel it as hope, like pulsing through,
Mhm.
that's giving us a sense of this is all going to make sense. Like this is going to be worth it. And I'm going to stay the course in trusting what I want.
Yes. And so this unfolds. We've gotten a small glimpse of it in 2025, but like it,
Mhm.
it's like things are moving back. So, we're kind of in that liminal space again for several
Yeah.
months, I feel like. But to your point, once things are really kind of moving forward in next summer,
Yes.
there is this sense of what, like you said, meaning.
Yeah.
And so I don't know about you, Molly, but the past few months have been like boop, 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 like awakening, awakening, awakening. Like I've had like insights that
Yeah.
have helped me understand myself, have helped me understand the world, have freed up a little energy. Have
Yeah.
you had something like that as well in your own personal life?
Absolutely. And just feeling like I can understand the meaning of something faster or see what the lesson is or see what my choices might be, to understand how to grow or what to learn. And I feel too like the awakenings are coming in so quickly, but I can receive them as well. Like I can receive the fast breakthroughs. Do you feel that?
I do. Like it's kind of it's almost like quantum therapy. Like all of a sudden, like something, like I get the lesson a lot faster. And I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I should attribute that to the fact that I'm just getting older, but it also could be this sort of, I think we were all under this very confusing time, especially since COVID, where
Yeah.
nothing seemed to make any sense. Like people's
Hmm.
actions felt very irrational to me. And I was
Mm.
really on this mission to like try to fix it and
Hmm.
understand it. And so for me personally, and everyone's going to have their own insights.
Right.
For me personally, the insight was, oh, you're not going to be able to fix this. And
Hmm.
whether that's something in my personal life or something bigger. So I think everyone's got their own individual messages that are out
Hmm.
there and available to download, but we have to be paying attention and we have to listen. We all
Yeah. And I think
have to give space, right?
and
To
yeah, and being willing to be receptive and to take it in and just sit with some things, and then it moves through faster, I feel too. Like I feel like there's been this, I don't know if you'd call it like advanced placement, or what do they call it in
yeah,
education where
AP
you're like,
test. Like we're
yeah,
we're
it's
like
like
in
an
the gifted
AP.
class.
So I felt it to be very encouraging. I mean, I like things that move fast in general. Like that's kind of my speed anyway. So I prefer these things that move along and that have the quantum potentials. But I'm also feeling like it's giving us a sense of strength in ourselves. Like I feel a strengthening and an empowerment and what can be decided and created and where to go next. And I just feel like I'm feeling these energies in a very high vibrational state. And I hope other people are too, for the
Yeah,
most part.
and I want people to also have patience with themselves the next several months, as I believe more and more will dissolve. More
Yes.
and more, and you may get thrown back into that more confusing state. So that might be kind of jarring too, where you feel like you were sort of moving forward, you were getting these insights, and then all of a sudden, like we're kind of backtracking. And we
Right.
have to realize that we're backtracking in order to kind of reintegrate the lesson. So it's almost like you're not going to lose the insights you got, but maybe you need to then take those insights and like practice them or like play them out in some way while chaos is ensuing all around us. Because I don't think the
Mm-hmm.
chaos is necessarily going to stop anytime too soon, because this is all part of this sort of destruction to bring us to a new place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that? Or
Beautifully said. I do. Beautifully said. And, the fact that both Saturn and Neptune are going to be in the late degrees of Pisces is so significant at an evolutionary level. I mean, what we are moving through is bigger than we realize in this present moment. Like it has a lot more attached to it in terms of what we are closing out on the planet, what needs to end in terms of not only, energies and emotions, but I feel, Dabney, that it's related to even our unconscious age of Pisces programming, where we sought or we looked for power outside of us. We thought we had to be a certain way in order to be good. We thought we had to show up a certain way to be spiritual. I feel that we're moving out of some of these unconscious norms that have been established that don't really serve us anymore. And in fact, are connected to a sense of powerlessness instead of empowerment. So that could be interesting to reflect on too, is like, how are you traveling with a new sense of empowerment in yourself that you don't allow the external world to dictate or negotiate away? You don't lessen it, you don't dissolve it outside of yourself, because there are going to be a lot of things that will be dissolving, ending. I've mentioned extinctions before. Like there's horrible traumatic things happening on our planet that are absolutely heartbreaking, and it can be hard for the human heart, to resolve it or to find peace with it, because we know it's not okay. It's not okay. And so we're I think we're having to go higher, Dabney, and to like connect with, well, what is the bigger spiritual meaning of this? Because I do feel that part of the human journey is to travel with a spiritual perspective that can give you some kind of internal peace amongst the chaos.
so right now, wonderfully said. And like really like it hits me because it makes me recognize that right now in the sky, the North and South node are on the Virgo Pisces axis. And
Okay.
I've been kind of doing some sort of spiritual introspection with like a teacher. And we dived deep into the idea of conviction and faith and
Mm,
how those two concepts are one. And
yeah.
but that's conviction is very much a Virgo thing, right? It's your
Yeah.
beliefs, it's how and faith is very much a Pisces thing.
Hmm.
Both are realities that you create, and
Hmm.
both are energetic. So your
Hmm.
convictions are your faith. It is the belief system. It's the thing that keeps you going. And so
Yeah.
having that faith, like when have you experienced a miracle in your life? I mean, have you ever experienced a miracle? Something that's unexplainable that really it's just like, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think,
Absolutely.
right. And so that sort of gets you out of the mind and into
Hmm.
that place of like, well, I know that there is something bigger. There is a greater plan. I just need to have faith. And you can
Hmm.
choose faith too.
Hmm.
You can
Yeah.
choose to get out of the worry. The Virgo mind is very much about wanting to understand and to fix and to create some sort of ideal.
Mhm.
And the Pisces is an acceptance. And right now we're
Mhm.
being called to sort of accept and have faith. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely, because it's so much a part of the ongoing human experience of going into the Virgo energy of what I can manage, what I can take care of, what I can, improve, and how I want to be excellent with something, and how I do it really well, and the standards we hold ourselves to about even precision. And then we go into, the messy openness of Pisces, which is a reminder that, but there's more than that. And it's okay to let yourself off the hook when you're not perfect or when you don't, meet those exact standards, that you're still, seen and loved by the divine. That Pisces energy can also open us up to the new perspectives of what if? What if it doesn't look exactly like this, but it can still be something that evolves me or supports me? What if it looks wildly different than what I expected or what I thought I wanted? And I also think, Dabney, of how, the Virgo energy is so good at figuring out the how. How
Mhm.
are we going to do this? How is this going to work? How is this going to be improved? And then the Pisces energy doesn't even care about the how. It's like it can happen through the miracle matrix, right? It can happen in so many ways that you can't plan. So this is really like a beautiful push and pull, as all the polarities are in astrology, into like expanding ourselves into the wisdom of both and being able to hold both, right? Being able to honor both and to hold them for what they are.
So, one of the things, and so that dance, that is it. That's the dance of the planets and the zodiac.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do they interact? And so, right now, if we find ourselves, and so many people are like, well, what's going to happen? I get that a lot. And
Yeah.
the reality is, like, Molly and I are not going to tell you what's going to happen because we don't know. We can tell you what the energy is, but we are not omniscient with a crystal ball. And those people that do tell you this is exactly what's going to happen, it may feel good. It may feel like it's
Right.
taking a burden off of your shoulders because then you're like, well, that's what's going to happen. And so then I can plan for that. And that's
Mhm.
hard. That's hard not to have that certainty right now. It's really hard.
We won't.
But
Right.
the certainty is a degree of control. And a lot
Yeah.
of people, and I know a lot of people that watch my channel, we have myself included, as humans, we have a need, a desire, a want for control because when things feel out of control, they feel dangerous.
Right.
And so what is the antidote to that? And right now, I think the only antidote that I'm coming up with is looking at the energy of the sky, and it's faith.
Yeah. And it's reminding ourselves that we're equipped to travel through uncertainty, even though we don't like it, even though it feels dangerous. We seek safety. That's just part of our primal needs as human. We want to feel safe. We want to know what to plan for. And yet we're living in such a dynamic time with all these energies swirling around that we have to remember that we're also equipped to handle this. Like we are able to keep showing up, hour by hour, day by day. And that's all that you have to expect of yourself. So we all do that. We all go further down the calendar and want to look and know how something's going to play out. But I feel, Dabney, that with these energies, there's multiple potentials. And so we're learning how to be safe in the unknown.
And that insight right there is such a powerful one. And it's not one that's easily integrated, especially for me. I
Right.
worry about everything. So it
Mm.
takes a lot of conscious energy to get out of my head and to calm myself.
Yeah.
So if other people are watching, understand that I get it. Like this,
Yeah.
it is destabilizing. It is uncertain. But when people ask, well, what can I do? Like I can't look at the news anymore, or I'm looking at the news and it's stressing me out, or I'm out in the streets and I'm protesting. I think part of that is
Mm.
like figuring out what you're called. Like the astrology chart is a really good map, and not
Yeah.
everybody is going to be called at every time to do everything. We each have an individual role. And
Mhm.
what was exciting to me about your class, so when I got the email about your upcoming class, it's called Manifesting with the Minor Grand Trine, 2025
Mhm.
to 2029. It's only $88, and it's got like I don't know how many videos you said in there. It was like 40 or something. It was insane.
Well, I think there's 20 and then I'm adding more every year. So it's going to be like something you buy at once and then you keep getting more information. Part of it too is that I didn't want to overload people by
Yeah,
talking
right.
about
40
too much at
videos
once.
feels overwhelming. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but that would overwhelm me too. I've got like 400 classes that I bought and haven't looked at. But I am
Right.
going to take this class largely because I do think that when I saw that class, I was like, that is the North Node right now. It is
Mm.
manifesting with the gift that is there. And how do we
Mhm.
do that? And so I think the fact that this can be like a self-paced thing that you do over the next 4 years
Yeah.
for a very affordable price, I think is really going to help people kind of get like as those downloads come in, it's like, what do I do with
Mhm.
it? And I think your course will kind of help people channel that information into the best possible action. What was your
Yeah.
intention in creating it? That's what I took away from it. That's what I was, when I read about it.
Yeah, well, these are very energizing energies, and it does depend, of course, on how each person works with the fire and air signs. Because, if you have fire and air in your chart, this is naturally going to fuel you, and there's going to be a sense of synchronicities and movement, maybe that you've been waiting on for years. And there's going to be even times when it feels like it's moving too fast, which can be the case when there is strong fire and air in the mix. So we're going to be learning, how to keep pace with the faster moving energies. But I wanted people to have a roadmap that aligns them with their highest possible timeline and how to consciously choose what is going to be changing for you and showing up for you. I mean, that's what we love about astrology. Even though we don't know the exact specifics, there's things you're going to map in your chart that give you a heads up of, okay, these three areas of my life are going to be the ones that are feeling this dynamic change the most. And just that alone can help you understand, what to expect, what to be on the lookout for, where to say yes, when an opportunity comes through, where to be aware of what is unfolding for you in this timeline in the second half of the decade. So I think it's a big deal, Dabney, because it gives people the gift of preparation, right? But also a sense of, well, I'm going to be able to consciously choose, these areas of my life with more knowingness.
So when and so by the way, I will put all the information on how to sign up for the class on my website, or not on my website, but on my community page, but also I'll link it below in this video and in the
Mhm.
comments. So you can easily check it out and learn more about it and see if it's right for you. But getting back to the actual Grand Trine, because we don't have a crystal ball, I'm not going to put you on the spot for what's going to happen. But what are some of the themes that you see unfolding in the coming years?
Well, one thing about this minor grand trine is that the apex is Neptune in Aries. And that means that the apex is that center point. I think of it as the cosmic arrow, where you have Uranus and Gemini sextiling Neptune, Pluto and Aquarius sextiling Neptune. It's pointing us forward into some new soul chapters that we've been preparing for. And I think it's going to bring up, how we are dissolving the overactive Aries ego or the overactive independence. I think this can bring up a new sense of community, like where we need others for support and connection, where we're seeking people who we can turn to, who are in a same experience, or who want to discuss and connect in ways that remind us we don't have to go it alone. I think it's going to also place a focus on our individual sovereignty and how we are becoming more spiritual beings in these energies, meaning we're ready to trust our intuition more. We're not overly relying on the mind to only figure things out. We're expanding our energetic gifts and talents in a way that we want to work with them more. We want to trust them more. We want to be able to say, I feel this is better for me, or I sense this is what is in alignment for me. And I'm going to go over here and try this, even though it might not make sense right away. So I feel, Dabney, that we're getting out of I'm going to say our mind control. Like we're getting out of how we are always needing to rely on our minds to figure things out. And instead, we're moving into some of the higher Neptune experiences of trusting the energy, trusting ourselves, and really calling in and working with our intuition more actively. What do you think? What do you
So
think about Neptune and Aries?
I do think it feels like a fresh start. I think
Mhm.
it feels like getting out of the when I was, it didn't have to be this way, and in many ways it probably wasn't, but there was a victimization and a nightmare sort of scenarios that would play out with Neptune and Pisces that I was anticipating with Neptune and Pisces this very like
Mm,
loving kumbaya energy. And I do think
mm,
compassion and empathy came to the forefront during that time. I think that people had a
uh-huh,
whole new language during and a recognition of other people's experiences. And there's
mhm.
been and so empathy was something that was very much up.
Yeah,
However, and now there's a backlash because there's always a backlash to everything, right?
right.
Kind of like a backlash to empathy now, and there's a backlash and like a taking away people's experience. But when anything goes to an extreme, there becomes this extreme where you've selected victimization, and
Mm,
that's a choice as well within Neptune
mhm,
and Pisces. And so
sure.
Neptune in Aries is definitely not victimization. I think that there is a higher expression, in which case is that, that fresh choice. Like there's something
Yeah,
new. We're actually
yeah,
ready to solve problems. We're actually ready to tackle things and move
mm,
forward.
yeah,
And yet the downside is kind of a um glamorization or a idealization of war and violence. And
mm,
so the thing that actually gives me some hope on that front is that
mhm.
Saturn's there kind of pulling the reins in a little bit. And
Yeah.
um so that's, what do you make of the Neptune Saturn conjunction that is going to be that real fresh start because they'll both be in Aries in February at the 0 degree?
Oh, I know. At 0 degrees, no less, right? Like it's such a powerful beginning point of responsibility in ourselves and holding ourselves to a higher standard and a new standard. I feel that it's going to be a challenge, I think, for some people. I mean, the Aries energy can be too immature, right? It can be too like unevolved or self-focused or impulsive. And I think we're going to see that as a display of any energy at the very beginning of Aries. I think we're going to have to be aware of that expression coming out. But what I'm feeling is that this is such a important new start in a 36-year cycle, right? If we look at the Saturn Neptune conjunction, how that plays out, that I think it's actually bringing us into a new truth within ourselves. Like I'm feeling this as a more spiritual energy because I feel that that Neptune influence has been working with us, over the past few months since it went into Aries earlier this year.
Yeah.
And I feel that it's been awakening some more things about ourselves that we're meant to see and understand. Maybe things that we have fallen short on, ways
Mhm.
we haven't been as disciplined, ways that we need to mature or stand in a new level of commitment to self. And so I think that's going to be part of the higher expressions of a Saturn Neptune conjunction in the very early degrees of Aries is, what are the standards you're holding yourself to, and how that initiates something brand new in your life, and in your sense of self.
So, you know, I know that you and we are have only a few more minutes. So talk to me about what you would suggest people in their individual lives, how they can really sink into this grand trine and, take these insights, and what do you foresee for people over the next period? Like, it sounds like you're very optimistic about it, and I think it is a silver lining, and I do think like it's this kind of, like I said, like, a golden orb in the future that we can kind of know that there is a reason why all these things are happening. So just give me a little bit more on like what you think individually people should be focused on.
Where are you ready to take a risk and make some important changes based on the dreams you want in this life? Where are you ready to propel yourself forward? These are action-oriented energies that require, thinking, understanding, quick decision making. But where are you ready to make a change in your life for your best and highest good that takes you into a new experience of yourself? And because the energy works with the Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius, it's how the self affects the collective, and it's how what you do could be inspiring others or showing them new pathways, new options. We're moving out of what we thought we had to stay connected to or committed to in this life. I mean, I think of it, Dabney, in terms of work. Like it's devastating, some of the job losses that are happening, of course, and the shifts that are occurring in companies, industries, professions. But I feel that this energy in the background is propelling you to actively choose what do you want, because the universe will open the pathways. I have people in my life, like my personal friends, they're having to get some new skills right now. They have to make the leap into a whole new industry that they never considered. So they have to learn some new skills. I see that as the Aries energy ushering them into that beginner's mind. It's the Fool in Tarot. It's a sense of, okay, I'm going to see where this goes. I don't know what's going to happen. But that's what this energy is. It's requiring each of us to kind of get to the edges of who we thought we were, and then to take a leap forward that could show you even more that you never would have planned. So that's how I'm seeing it. I guess if we were to bring it into like the reality of people's job changes, is that we're going to have to be learning new things, but allow that to be something that you are inspired and that you're choosing.
I love that. And I think that you could translate that to relationships and a lot of different areas in your life. And
Yeah.
I just used the exact wording this morning when I was talking to someone about this course I'm taking, where I am accessing beginner mind because I feel a little
Yeah.
lost in a way. And
Yeah.
I've, been doing astrology for 20 years. I've been doing PR for 25. There's this part of me that's like, yeah, I absolutely know what I'm doing. I'm old enough now that things come second nature. So when I'm up against something new that I don't know how
Yeah.
to do, or that is beginner mind. And I think that is beautiful, that fire and air can fuel that. And then that's when you
Yes.
don't know, is when the path opens up. And that's something that's uncomfortable too. But that's where the
Right.
learning takes place. Doing something over and over again, that's the South Node. That's what we are good at. That's the easy
Yep.
path. We have to get out of our comfort zone with all this energy and, new beginnings. It's getting
Hmm.
out of what we do habitually, which is again
Yes.
coming out of that Virgo South Node. It's our habitual patterns and stretching ourselves into the wide open that we just can't even conceive what's coming.
That's so beautiful. And I think that's also the Neptune and Aries of, we're not sure who we're becoming yet. There's confusion, like, who am I now? Neptune tends to ask questions. Neptune will ask you a question, then you don't have the answer for a while. Like, that's a Neptune transit. You're like, I'm just floating on the ocean. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know where this is going. But in Aries, there's going to be perhaps some momentum that you're sensing, and hopefully it feels more encouraging, and optimistic than, even as you mentioned, Neptune and Pisces, where it just could have felt like it was a little bit heavier or just powerlessness at times.
Yeah. And all of this Gemini, Uranus and Gemini, new ideas, new ways of doing things, making a trine to
Mhm.
Pluto and Aquarius, which I know you've talked about, I've talked about, is really like people, rising up, people coming together and, deciding that we are not going to just focus on ourselves. We're going to focus on the collective, and we're going to focus on what's right for everybody. And so
Yeah.
there's so much potential. So I think this
Yeah.
minor grand trine is a lot of potential. So Molly, because we are short on time and that's all my fault, I was a little late. Is there anything else that you would want to impart to people? This has been like such a deep conversation, and it's so It's so Neptune and Aries, we just like dove right into like these really
Yeah.
heady concepts.
Yeah. Well, I guess I would say that with these energies, it will take time to figure some things out. And there could be this interesting dichotomy where parts of your reality just click quickly, and then other parts can feel like you're floating through no man's land. And so know that that is part of the astrology with this Neptune and Aries, but that you might have a rising trust in yourself, and you might feel that you're trusting yourself more than you ever have in your whole life, and that there's things that you are believing for yourself are possible. And I guess I feel that strongly, Dabney, and I want to give that to people as a reminder that these are really big times we're living in. And the more that we can rise out of any fears and deep worries, the more that we can just continue to balance ourselves and take care of ourselves, especially take care of our own energies. It's going to do wonders, and we need to give that to ourselves.
Ah, beautiful. Yeah. And Aries is learning courage, right? Like that's one of
Yeah.
the main things that they're here to do. And having Saturn there, it's like it's encouraging you to master that. And the
Hmm.
Aries is encouraging the Neptune to trust its intuition at all costs
Hmm.
and to really
Hmm.
kind of feel into what your knowing is, your personal
Hmm.
knowing.
Hmm.
Molly, this was
Yes.
awesome. Thank you
Thank
everyone
you.
for
This was so
watching.
great.
And like that, I just basically took Molly from 0 to 100 and on the Neptune and this minor grand trine. But if you want to learn more about the minor grand trine, one, like obviously go to Molly's channel if you're not already watching it. I watch it all the time. She puts out a ton of content, and all of it is really good reminders about how to live a more conscious life. And so I think she
Mhm.
has a similar kind of mission, which is that she wants you to live a more peaceful and conscious life and to have
Mhm.
an easier time of it on this planet
Mhm.
because it's available to you. And then
Yes.
consider her course too, because you can take it right alongside with me. Molly, any last words or
I'm just grateful for everything you're doing, Dabney, and for your audience and the lovely people and all their comments. And I'm grateful to be connected with such a great astrology community. I think that it's what we need more of right now, like to share these passions and these understandings. We can just keep supporting one another. So thank you for another great conversation.
yeah, thank you. And let me know in any way I can support you too.
Thank
So
you. Likewise. Thank you.
everyone, there is a reason and a season for it all, and the universe is conspiring to help us. So don't forget that and know that there is a little silver lining coming up. Focus on that. Good stuff to come. All right. Until next time.